Good morning, for July 3rd, with the Pastor Ministry International. How are you? Um, I have a disturbing article in the Paris today that I want to speak on and produce video and put this video on YouTube. I can also attempt to put this video on Facebook as well. A new educational tracker, a new debate. Chad Blackman, the Minister of Education, believes we need a new tracker and we need to send a bill every term to the parents. Let them know how much education costs. He's insulted the people of Barbados, but he's saying that we don't appreciate free education. Let me speak to Chad. First, let me address education. What's an education tracker? Education tracker is a tool used to determine the progress of a child as it is taking in information being known as a teacher. So let me talk about B first. Before we could, that I could do. Before we could understand what I'm saying, there are persons who are hearing this video saying, but he was in a school teacher. Okay, so let me give you my background in education. From 18 to 30 to 52 years, I taught lessons. First with Mr. Marstow, then I used to teach on my own, teach something for free, $2 a day. Then I started the institute, a division of city consultant services, and up to the year after COVID, I give lessons online. I give lessons in the classrooms at UE 11 plus. I had this ran on Saturdays where I had primary from 9 to 10:30, 10:30 to 12 o'clock, mid secondary school, lower secondary school, and from 12 to 2 o'clock, CXCMA. And a lot of my students over the years have graduated. Some of them are in the medical profession, engineering, lawyers, whatever. I also taught at St. Anthony's High for 2 years and at St. Leonard's Boys for 2 years. Served on the faculty board for science and technology as student rep, an assistant pure place science rep to the Guild 3 consecutive years at University of West Indies. I work at University of West Indies for 19 years full time, 2 years part time. I do not work as a lecturer, but I work maintaining the system the lecturers use to deliver education. So I work with the IT assets. The IT assets use to deliver education through the Moodle system, the banner system. Therefore, I've sat on campus council. And at faculty board and campus council, we talk about the framework of policy. I was the one who proposed that students pass both the coursework and exam to pass the full course. If you don't pass the coursework, but you pass the exam, you can't pass the course. You pass the course, but pass the exam. Don't pass the exam, you can't pass the course. That was part of the discussion I was part of. What I was read, and that was ratified by the science board, ratified by academic board, and the whole university get it. So yes, I'm a person behind that. So there are policies and stuff that I was a part of discussions in education at tertiary level at University of West Indies. I serve on campus council. Campus council is the council that looks over report to the council the academic year. Then we discuss improvements, what we need to do, blah blah blah. Our faculty board is 3 times a semester. We discuss things like the decline in number of students wanting to do a bachelor's degree in mathematics. How that first year got 150 students, and by second year we only got at least 15 students doing math majors. Things like that I have been involved in discussion. So even though I may not have been a school teacher, I have my experience in education. I also work with undergrads, helping them, tutor them in um, courses at university level, first, second year, help students with their research papers at undergrad and postgrad, both master's and doctoral level. I myself have a bachelor's degree. I myself have postgrad qualification and I'm about to finish my master's. So yes, I'm there. So for those who watching this video understand, I have a background in education. That's at the academic level for about education. I'm also a former Sunday school superintendent, Sunday school teacher as well. So both in secular world and in church, I've been involved in teaching. I understand assessment. And the track education trackers are assessment. At Sierra Boys School, I was taught that the scheme book is the book where you have to outline what you're teaching this week or this day. In the scheme book, you have your mark sheets, your register, your mark sheets. You have your form register, you have your class register, each thing should come to class. There's a lot of detailed information you collect that is used in assessment at the end of the school year to determine the way forward to improve delivery of education system. These are what we use as trackers. So if week 1 to week 4, I teach certain topics and I mark the homework and its issues or follows in delivering information homework, I know what I got to do to address the matter. If it's at my end, I got to improve. If it's at their end, I got to change the method to make sure they learn. Children can learn. And sometimes the bland way of learning is not the best way. Talk to them. Sometimes you need to be creative in your teaching. YouTube is one of the places that get a lot of information, and being creative in teaching is done at that level. So that's my background. Back to assessment. So homework is a method of determining if the student understand what was taught in class. That's one tracker. Class test is determine if at this point the student understand everything. That's another tracker. Behavior is a tracker. We track behaviors. We grading tracks performance, behaviors, marks, tracks attitude and behavior in class. If the attitude of the class is too bad, we will call in the parents for a meeting and discuss how we can work together to improve the behavior. So we got a lot of trackers already. We don't need to improve the trackers. Delivery is one thing. Assisted learning is another thing, more assisted learning programs. Lesson is a form of assisted learning. Lessons does not replace the classroom. Lessons help to clarify what some people don't understand. What some people don't understand with me, they understood with my son better. My son Abraham worked with me in the institute, and sometimes I put him to teach my class B because of his youthfulness and because he sees things differently than me as an older person. His delivery is different and sometimes it's much clearer. I find it's much clearer. I aging, so I understand. So sometimes the assisted learning, we call it lessons, helps some students who need the clarity. And for 32 years, I did that. I worked with students who was in class, and understand teacher that come to me. I say, don't break it down, explain it to them. And they understood it and went to class, and the performance and the grades and everything went up. That's how you assess. The major education has a test and measurements section that deals with the implementation of testing and measurements. They take sample evidence from the school, they do qualitative analysis, then they report it to the education officers who will then inform the schools where we need to do A, B, and C. Now, a lot of these activities in the schools, we as the public don't see. But at university, I see them, I sit in them, I'm a part of them. Committees and boards and campus council. That is where we discuss issues and come up with solutions. Make life easier for lecturers. So e-learning was introduced. With e-learning, lecturers can add the notes to the class from the produce and the slide from the lectures. Students could anytime access e-learning for the information. So we always have discussion to improve delivery, adding tools to assist the thing that are tracking. They will track the performance of the tools. So a lot of tracking goes on at primary, secondary, and tertiary. A teacher might say, all right, maybe puzzles is a way to get a child to improve focusing. So you start with easy puzzles and your puzzles, putting together puzzles in class. Projects to get group dynamics. And you're monitoring what's going on. Is it improving dynamics of the class, improving the class working together, besides being competitive, being more unified? You track these by the activities you do in the class with the students. All of these are trackers. What you need new trackers for? What you need new trackers for? You need to improve. We're always improving the present trackers. Secondary schools and some primary schools have online information for students and teachers to access, student parents and teachers to access after hours to determine really the notes teacher put up is they take the understanding can help your children. And you got YouTube. But we got tracking where we monitor what's going on in this space. I don't know what no trackers is about. In the article on Barbados today, it talks about we can send home an every term invoice of what it costs for education because Chad Batman is saying that really people of Barbados do not appreciate free education. So first thing I say is education in Barbados is not free. We, the people of Barbados, pay all sorts of taxes. We pay gas tax, gasoline and fuel tax at the pump. We pay income tax. We pay VAT. We pay land tax. We pay property tax. We pay corporate tax on our businesses. We pay tariffs on products and services that we buy. We are heavily taxed. The evidence is sure that majority, not minority, majority of these students appreciate the education is the number of people who apply to KFL campus, Barbados Community College, and some German Branch Institute are 4 times what they can take in first year. It's a fact. If you really only take it 1,200 students, I am guaranteeing you about 5,000 apply. All of them, majority of them, 94% of them meet the qualification criteria. But we only got spaces for X amount. So then we begin to say, all right, let me go through. And one of the tools that we have at university makes it easy to determine okay the 5,000 applicants to Barbadians who we can choose. Not because how many qualified we get that list. We can't take in all these. We set criteria and in system check. These are the people that meet criteria. Everybody qualified, but we can't take in 6,000 people because we don't have the capacity and the time to give us the space to teach 6,000 students in first year. We ain't got the space to teach 6,000 because we still got second year and third year students to teach. We still got postgrad students to teach. We still got research people to deal with. So university ain't got the capacity to take 6,000 people in the first year. Barbados Community College can't take 4,000 people in the first year. Simon Prescott Institute can't take 3,000 people in the first year. I talking about the first year alone. Because you can't do second year or third year unless you go through first year. So there are lots of people that are qualified to enter these institutions and they become qualified by paying somebody for paper. They went to secondary school and they went to primary school and do 11 plus they're in secondary school. They went to primary school and do an 11 plus exam and went to secondary school. They went to 5 to 7 years of secondary school and gained the prerequisite CXCs, the math and English at 1, 2, or 3, and 2s and 3s, and 1s to meet the criteria to go to SJPI, Barbados Community College, or University West Indies KFL campus. And there are some that go to Mona campus and some that go to St. Augustine campus as well. But dealing specifically with who live in Barbados going to the Barbados plan. I talking about those who benefited from taxpayers' fully funded education. So you can't tell people that people don't, according to Chad, that people don't appreciate. As he said, we have gotten accustomed to receiving free education. It ain't free, Chad. Taxpayers pay for it. You know, starting to pay for it. You were in Geneva again, hobby class. We are taking it for granted. That's not true. But then you have to remind people of what it values is. That if look, look, this is it, right? People value the generation, the last 4 years of students, or 5 years of students, 6 years of students that enter KFL camp because you've been in Geneva, Chad, were more serious than when you were at university, Chad. We don't have a lot of students frequenting the girl like in your time, Chad. I was with you as a mature student, Chad. We know that a lot of people use a hound in the girl. Work they're supposed to be in classes. That don't happen at campus. I about 4 years or 3 years, I gotta get out of here and I gotta get that degree. That is attitude. That is appreciation for the education system. Because you in your time, you know, we have people that was at university for 7 and 8 years trying to get one degree. But not this generation. All let me get out. Let me get on with my life. These young people leaving school coming to KFL campus ready to do serious studying and required to a lecture. I want to make sure when I lecture I understand and that I'm equipped to go up there and perform. Nothing wrong with that. As secondary school students, yes, they go over to enjoy school. They go look. You are only 4 to 18 years. One time in your life, you're an adult. Then you dead. You're an adult paying bills, mortgage, having a family, working till you dead. But you're only between 4 to 18 years old. One time in your life. So children have to right, besides trying to get academically qualified, try to enjoy that time in their lives. Or that time in their life will never come back. They got it right to the shed, but learn to balance it. How you mean don't appreciate it? Why are we always looking at the minority and plastering it over the majority and talking jobby from every mouth? Let me tell you the problem with the minority. Why a lot of people in minority don't appreciate education like we think. It got to do with the 11 plus stigmatization and desegregation called 11 plus. Let me explain it to you. The grammar schools, the older secondary school, if you went to one of them and you put down and you went to one of them, most likely for certain jobs you will get higher providing you got the qualifications. Or you but somebody went to school and not mind you and the got their opening, you can beg you will get through. Sometimes you know secondary school it happens. But you got a child that lives in Deacon's Farm, Ferniehearst, Rosette, Eden Lot, or Haynesville, The Pine, Kendall Hill, God Hill, who get 5 years in an associate degree. And because of where they live, they can't get a job. Don't got all the qualifications. I advise any young person, um, this is me, put the address at the back of the CV or resume. A lot of problems. So you can imagine, my uncle left university and got a degree in driving taxi. I don't need to go to university to drive taxi. But if he got a degree in driving taxi, we send him again careful to get a degree and can't find the job, can't get the job because they be confirmed. So I may as well go and buy a car and fix it up good and put a taxi saying and become a taxi driver like my uncle because the educated thing didn't work for he, so it ain't work for me. So we gotta break that away from that. We need to teach entrepreneurship from infant school, not play monopoly. So that they can understand if you can't get into the job market, create self-employment. Try self-employment of value. A lot of people tried it and succeeded in it. C.O. Williams then went to university, just left school, and worked as believe he could work in construction, actually in laws to lend him money to buy a tractor and start C.O. Williams construction. But his younger brother, the most honorable Rob Williams, went to St. Augustine campus and did a degree in engineering. Thanks to our Walton Barrow, came back and became a part of Williams. C.O. Williams started C.O. Williams Electrical, and now Williams Industry is $1 billion corporation. So, and everything is because he is of European descent. Emerson Alcott and Company, Black one still existing. The Nation newspaper started by a set of black people in Barbados. BBS and the Advocate run by a black man. So black people have also success started to have entrepreneurs. My girlfriend, Reverend John H. Gasky, John Hugh Gasky, to call a few. We need to teach entrepreneurs because everybody ain't got the spirit to research and find out to become an entrepreneur. But maybe if we do that, we could do a lot of things. They could do a lot of other things, online work, that sort of thing. Be challenged to do it to try and succeed in it if we can't find work in the job market. So ain't that people don't appreciate the education. Is that we keep looking at the minority, you find about 10%. Teaching English will always be a problem because we don't want to accept the fact English is the most difficult language to teach. English language is the easiest thing we to taught, but it's the most difficult thing to teach. Students meet the prerequisite to enter Careful campus, but still got to do it in the proficiency exam. Not in science and social sciences, they got to do a math proficiency exam. Right. Not because the party CXC, they got the CSET, they got the kit, but the problem is what is expected of them. They haven't been more than shaped to be able to work at university level. So we got to train them and help them and teach them. You understand? English is one more difficult subject to teach. Research tells you that. So for you to say we are accustomed to receiving free education and we're taking it for granted. But some you have to remind people of what its value is. It's utter jobby because Belgians appreciate it. Belgians who migrated with a birth certificate go to the States at 30 plus years old, got evening class and get that high school diploma with high recommendation and move on in life in America. The basic qualifications for a proper job in progressive states in America is that high school diploma. And they had a 50 plus year old cousin that migrated with a green card to Brooklyn and did the high school diploma after all them years of school and get high recommendations because our education system is sound. Some of the best in the world. That's what Chisholm's parents are Barbara descent born in America sent she back here to get a proper primary education because they know and they value it then and we still value it here. We still got people in the states who getting children and send them back here to go school here. So don't look at the minority, look at the majority. Motivate the minority. But the minority problem is I got relatives that getting this education and end up driving taxi or driving bus or doing supermarket work. What is the sense of me getting it if I can't get in the job market? And when I get in the job market, I ain't getting paid. For them, we got a minority or say it don't make no sense. Because we got students at St. Boys, Spring Memorial, Parkinson, Princess Margaret, Frederick Smith, and the one in Trench that was called St. Lucie, who left in school at 5 and 6 with 1, 2, and 3s. So as far as concerned, people appreciate it. Right? You know what we got Ukraine? Because we elected the lawless. No. And recent years, Barbara has seen a growth concern in Ukraine in school violence and emotional instability among our students. Because more students going to school angry and hungry because this government don't know how to friggin' govern. The government don't know how to earn money. It borrowing the hell out of itself. It borrowing from 2018 to now. Borrowing. IMF program, this program, borrow money do this, borrow money do this, borrow money from IMF, borrowing. It don't earn nothing. Tax. He expect one and got 4 trillion like 5 0 rate support it. He just can't lock you up because he got to go and try to find work to pay the court. And he can't find work. And you want to pay the woman $350 a week. She got to pay rent, like water and telephone. Put like $20 and she pay as you go. In case you apply for something, it will cost you, get you a better job, a better pay. I said, they only lunch from the school child get is the school beans for the day. The only meal for a bunch of they get is school beans for the day. And later take break. How you think the child feels? To know that this is what their parents brought you all in. This is how you treat their parents. So anger leads to violence, and I don't understand. Whatever, it's going to be a lot of fights too. What happened is that we got a cell phone that record a video and we can share with everybody, both in the school and outside the school. So we are having more video documentation of what's going on in the school. But in my day, we can video document nothing. So I don't think levels change. I think that we got a foot in mouth disease. Everything that don't matter, we make it matter, and what matters we don't give a damn about. The less fighting and less troublings in school. Children grab a children here and all sorts of things in school when I was at school. When I was a teacher. I hear stories from my stepchildren when I went to primary and secondary school. It is nothing new. In my mother time they had fighting. We brought the school violence to our proportion. We live in a world that nation fight against nation over ignorance. You come and find Palestinians and we're fighting over nothing. Let the Palestinians got the freedom to live and govern themselves and do their own business and not got to be under the fear of what Israel can do to them. And then we ain't got no war there. But Israel want all, Palestinians want peace, and they're fighting. So you got fighting in the Middle East, fighting in America, fighting in Central America. So you get fighting too. You get violence. It's fighting. Stop calling it violence. It's fighting. When I was a boy, I hear about violence in secondary school, fighting in secondary school where people get injured. They call it fighting, not violence. When I want, I prefer I make it look like something weird or extraordinary. I keep it ain't happening for thing memorial. So, so we are video documenting what I saw at school that I can video document. Alright then, check school records. Check principles to go back the last 20 years. And you're gonna see them raising violence. So I don't know about the young people falling into crime. Do not blame, you are blaming the taking education for granted for the increase in violence and school leavers involved in crime. No, it's because the Bible they're probably want to create jobs. Some people turn to crime because it's only that they can get their money to help support their children. Women to be reserved to prostitution, a few, a minor. I tell you them, and look. We do not have a 40% of our population committing crime. I guarantee 40% of the name 300,000 people in Barbados aren't committing crime. Why are we blowing these things out of proportion for? We have equipment to video document all sorts of activities over Barbados. So we getting to see it more, but it's always there. Then a gruesome find that a man in Black Rock cutting his way up to pieces in the 60s, and the beheadings, and you find the body but not the head. We don't hear about them sort of gruesome crimes in our study. We hear about the shooting pow. We got all 50 murders for the whole year. That is true. That has nothing to do with education. That got to do with choice. We live in a violent world. It got to do with choice. And we must try to reduce it to zero. At the same time, we cannot, we must put some energy into reducing fighting in schools and the violence. I don't call it violence in school. Fighting in school and the violence in the community. We need to reduce it. But people want good paying jobs to support themselves, pay their rent, pay utilities, feed the children upon less time by the credit unions to say about Barbados. They're probably avoiding that for people because chicken gone. In 2017, a whole chicken was $20 now, a whole chicken is 40. A good size whole chicken. Look where we come from. And then nothing to do with downgrades. In 2008, when they returned to cover the government for Barbados party, we had Prius been in the highway, Prius been in the highway, at ABC for 2 to 4 with a gentleman's agreement, no contract to say when we finish big highway, pay X amount of dollars to the carry to feel like harbor houses, build houses, and we don't know what houses is yet. A lot of things that went on. We didn't have an inquiry. The home and the trip at St. Joseph Hospital. A man trimmed a ackee tree in Bridgetown for $18,000 through Urban Development Commission on the Hamila. The Four Season project don't can't get off the ground. Nothing. Nothing can get finished after close to 30 years, 30 plus years. And that started on the Barbados Labour Party, but did not permit it with the attorney for it. Huh? All in the country for all downways. We were better only downways than now. We live in like in the time of Granny Adams. We live in a time when Granny Adams was a young man raising young children. Thomas was a little boy. But everybody were living like it's living from minimum wage, from paycheck to paycheck. Even middle class people live from paycheck to paycheck. That's where all lives has come to. Nobody can leave home and buy their own home. That's where you brought us to. It started with Alpha, with the Benner condo and caused the price of land to go through the air. That people in Deacons and Black Rock can't afford to buy. And it get worse since then. So anyone saw some of the violence when people left, when university by any graduate, 600 or 700 students in October next year, let them be coming from work and getting sacked and graduate. Don't let a lot of them be home trying to find jobs. Yeah, we got a lot of online work, but it takes money to create jobs for the people. And you will see the grants come down because I'm gonna turn to crime. And it's not and the thing about it is I live near Cave Hill. Majority of the people in Cave, the young people in Cave Hill, are not involved in crime. Some of them become entrepreneurs trying to sell fruits like City Road or open less that thing. And they're making the 2 or 3 thousand they want, but it is enough for them to get by. Entrepreneurs, first cut here, people do landscaping, young people in Careful trying, in St. Stephen's trying, in Black Rock trying, feel that trying. I see young people making effort more than I see the one that committing crime. If we really will get a proper picture of what's going on, then some of this nonsense talking that come through the mouth of Mr. Blackman will not thing. You say that you want to steer the children towards positive opportunities, but you're creating a positive. Y'all are not creative from 2080 to now any positive opportunity to for young people. Hmm? So I don't know what nonsense. And this bare nonsense is really here, man. I start reading it. Hmm? You have not created any opportunities for young people to strive. People leaving BCC, people leaving Polytechnic, people leaving university, and there's no work for them. So why would a 14-year-old at Ellerslie or St. Helens boys or Parkinson would want further education after school if their cousins and their sisters and brothers are going to university, getting a bachelor's degree and home sitting down? Because the Barbadian party can't create jobs. Think about it, Chad. Think about it.